Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, we are the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago, and we still hold that position for the last 4 years. Imagine that, eh? Hard work and no play. What do you get? Proper results. So, the Ministry of National Security has extended a work permit for those Venezuelan nationals who registered in the 2019 exercise for a further 6 months until December 31st, 2023. The original migrant permit were only supposed to be valid for 1 year and should have expired in 2020. However, given the pandemic, there have been multiple 6 months extensions since then. The Ministry of National Security urged cardholders to visit Immigration Department or Immigration Division Enforcement Unit between June 20th and July 28, 2023 to extend their permit and update their registration card. Failure to visit the relevant immigration office by July 28, 2023 will prevent further processing, and incomplete application will be considered as withdrawn. Viewers, you are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are live on Synergy Network from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. and a rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Now remember, viewers, Real Talk is offering you 4% on fixed deposits. Remember that. Times are getting harder. At the end of the year, you have to spend extra cash. Where are you getting it from? Nowhere. When you set up a fixed deposit at Real Talk, you're getting 4%. So at the end of every 12 months, you will get $4,000 extra in your hand on $100,000. Now, viewers, nowhere in Trinidad and Tobago you are getting that. Remember that. Now, that $4,000 and $100,000 at the end of 12 months could pay your property tax. You don't have to dig into your pocket for extra cash. Remember that, viewers. Also, remember, I'm a licensed money lender. Those of you who need cash, borrow, it's not a problem. As long as you have some form of security, you're good to go. Fixed deposit, viewers, you can contact me at 3391670 or my office. They will give you my contact number to also get in touch with me. So, as we start our program tonight, Paula, good night.
Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
I was looking at you on the tape this evening, and it amazed me to see this big fat African woman teeth in her wig.
Oh God.
Take out she hair, teeth in her wig and putting it on.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Your teeth in here now. Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris, Julian, MP, has confirmed that students who missed yesterday exam because of flooding will not be given mark-up exam or make-up exam. She said it was not the policy of Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, which set the exam to allow make-ups. Now, Morris Julian stated that in case the Ministry of Education collects verified students' specific data from schools and makes representation to CXC for compassionate consideration on behalf of the students. Listen to this.
Mr. President, in light of the inclement weather experienced on Monday, the 12th of June, 2023, and the flooding which ensued, the Ministry of Education made arrangements to facilitate the students who had difficulty getting to their centers to sit the CSEC examination. These matters were handled on a school-by-school and in some cases a student-by-student basis as the need arose. However, despite their best efforts, all students scheduled to sit the CXC examinations yesterday were not able to make it to an examination center. The Caribbean Examination Council does not schedule make-up examinations, so in cases like these, which have occurred previously, the Ministry of Education collects verified student-specific data from schools and makes representation to CXC for compassionate consideration on behalf of the students who were not able to sit their examinations. This has resulted in previous years in a prorated examination grade based on their performance in the examination papers they would have been able to sit and the SBA grade. Principals were requested yesterday to send in the information relating to the students who missed examinations due to flooding, and this is presently being received and collated by the Ministry of Education for submission to CXC. Parents of the students so affected were advised to liaise with the school principals to ensure that their children are on the list, which is submitted to CXC and the Ministry of Education. Thank you.
She said students will receive a prorated examination grade based on their performance in other exams. They would have been able to sit on their SBA grade. The Ministry of Education made arrangements to facilitate students who had difficulties getting to their centres to sit the CSEC examination, and that is the CSEC examination, viewers. Some students were told they could report to the nearest center to take their exam. Morris Julian said, principals were requested yesterday to send an information relating to students who missed the examination due to flooding. She also advised parents of the students affected to liaise with school principal to ensure that their children are on the list. At least they made preparation, viewers, for students who were not able to reach the centers. Moving along. Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland have stated that the UNC has failed in its duty as a parliament opposition on the issue of crime. How could the opposition fail? Now, Keith Scotland is a prominent lawyer, and he is saying to us that the opposition has failed in the fight or in its duty as the parliament opposition on the issue of crime. How does the opposition feel? Remember, this is the same guy who said, I'll go back to coal pot and go back to riding bicycle. Keep that in mind as we discuss this. Referring to Parliament, Hansard record, Scotland cited several instances when the opposition failed to support legislation brought by the government to deal with crime. He recalled, so hear this. All the time when Farris were Attorney General, the present government could have moved motions by removing majority votes to get what they want done. Remember that? They could have removed the majority to get votes to what the present government wants done in Parliament. But they can't do the same thing now to bring their bill forward to fight crime. Do so, like so, Keith. Do so, like so. Now, he recalled that all opposition MP, including Baratara Sawa MP Saddam Hussein, mover of the motion against Hines, refused to support bail legislation which was aimed to ensuring that repeat offenders of serious crime could not easily access bail. Why they didn't move a motion? Why they didn't move a majority so they could get a little bit of vote and bring the legislation into place? Scotland, how come they can't do that now? They needed full support of the opposition. All the time when the government were moving the majority, they could have got away. They could have gotten away to do what they want, but now they can't do that. That's sad, boy. Scotland was surprised at the time of Hussein in those circumstances to be accusing Hines of doing nothing to curb crime. Listen to this.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Hansard of this country will show it has to be a hall of infamy that whenever legislation to combat crime and ensure public safety was tabled in this Parliament and debated for passage, they were not supported by the honourable members on the other side. The Bail Amendment Bill of 2022. This was a critical component in the arsenal in the fight against crime brought by this government to continue something that was in place under the previous regime. It required, in the form that it was brought, a 3/5 majority of both houses. It did not receive, and the government did not receive, the requisite support from the honourable members on the other side. The mover of this motion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, was one of those who refused and failed to support the continuation of this bill. And now he has the temerity to bring a motion of no confidence when he himself has not shown the moral and the parliamentary fortitude to support initiatives that will reduce criminality and create a greater sense of safety in the public.
So, Keith, I want you to ask the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Keith Rowley, how many times did his government remove the majority to get a simple vote to bring a legislation or an amendment in place? Go to the Prime Minister and ask him that. Now, Keith Scotland is a prominent lawyer in Trinidad and Tobago. I want him to go to the Prime Minister, who is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is also the Minister, the holder of the chair of the National Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago also. They can't move the majority now, you know. That's not important right now. Because that topic, crime, is not really an issue for them. They have more important things to see about to move majority. They can't do it for crime. Scotland declared that the PNM is serious about fighting crime, and in TNT, this commitment was the same in and out of government. Here it is.
What this government, and by extension, the Minister of National Security, has shown is that whether we are in opposition or whether we are in government, the PNM is serious about fighting crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is because we know that we have to exist in Trinidad and Tobago.
Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. They're serious about it. But in this case, they can't remove the majority. They could have done it for something else. You see? Do so I like so, you know. Do so I like so. At the end of the day, the facts is the facts. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to hear Hines. Almost half of the murder this year are gang related. Now this is something that we continue from a previous show. So feel free to call in 2386716 after this break.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. And we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
So viewers, this is a story from a previous show that we just want to bring back to have a discussion on this tonight, because crime is out of control. Gangs, they are employing youths, and what are we doing about it? What does the ministry have in place to deal with it? What does the gang-related ministry in our country is doing about this? Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines has revealed that almost half of this country's murder rate this year were gang-related killings. Hines lamented that so far in 2023, over 250 persons lost their life to crime. He stated that according to information from the police service, I'll keep track of the story here, according to information from the police service, where 20 were due to altercations, 6 were attributed to domestic violence, 21 for revenge killing, 21 again during robberies, 31 is drug-related killing, and 29 were still without a motive. Listen to the Minister of National Security.
In 2023, altercations so far, as at the 31st of May, 20. Domestic violence, 6. I didn't tell you just now, in respect of domestic violence, 33 for 2022. So far, 6 of them. Gang-related so far for the year, 114. Revenge, 21. Robberies, 21. Drug-related, 31. Unknowns, 29, and so far for the year, 242 citizens would have lost, or visitors in some cases would have lost their lives.
Now viewers, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is aware of a gang-related killing. They understand that this murder, this killing is gang-related. Could TTPS officers do anything to fix that? I'm asking. The minister noted that border security and firearm retrieval are major elements of the government's crime plan, and the TTPS has been mandated to seize as many guns as possible. He also listed the amount of firearms seized by police for previous year and added that so far this year, 280 firearms have been recovered, many of them military grade. Listen to the minister.
In 2012, the police recovered 420 of them. That time we still had a little bit of our innocence inside of us. By 2017, 1,064 illegal firearms seized by the police in their activity. And 2022, 704. And as I speak to you today, about 280 firearms have been recovered. Among them, many of them military grade, weapons that you will typically find in the hands of soldiers, military persons in combat, carrying and using 5.56 and 7.62 ammunition.
He's talking just like Stuart Young, you know. Just like Stuart Young, no difference. So, considering gang-related killing, they are aware of how many gangs we have in Trinidad and Tobago. They are aware of how many members are in each gang in Trinidad and Tobago, and what are they doing about it? How long are you going to collect data? They're collecting data since Faris days. Faris, at one point in time, came out and tell the public how many gangs there are in Trinidad and how many individuals were in each gang. Collecting data is one, fixing the problem is another one. How are they working together to fix the problem. While gang members are increasing, gangs are increasing, what are they doing? What are they doing to fix the problem? And this is the real issue we are having. We don't have a plan to fix the problem. We're collecting data for the last 100 years. And how many plans do we have to execute gangs in Trinidad? How many? Let me tell you something. Tonight is not about blaming, Tonight is about we need a plan. That is what we need. We need a plan. Because gang members are committing larceny of motor vehicle. Gang members are breaking into your home. Gang members will kidnap family members and call ransom. You think an ordinary man is going to do that? No, an ordinary man don't have the access to firepower to do that. So what are we doing with gangs? Keep in mind, 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago, 7,000 police officers in our country, different branches of TTPS in our country. And is there a plan to stop 1.4 million people from being tormented by gang members in our country? Caller, good night.
Good night, Saieed.
Go right ahead.
Look at the suffering of these people in South Fooch and Central, Can't, the government knows what to do, Look, they had a policy with these people in Greenvale. Did we have a recurrence after that massive flood in Greenville, sir? Because they did what was supposed to be done. Why can't the same courtesy be extended to other parts? Is it because they are opposition? It is everybody pays tax, isn't that right, sir? Everybody pays tax. And why is some treated, less than second-class citizens? This is not fair. And you know what is amazing, sir? You know what is amazing? We see our Prime Minister accusing everybody about deceitfulness and lie, and he would come to correct that. How much times he has been proven that he is not speaking the truth and being dishonest with the people? Did we forget email gate, sir? Did we forget how he came into power in 2015 with that email gate fiasco, which is the most disgraceful of all? Look at the way that his outburst, look at the deceitfulness in his action. Why can't he just employ the same strategy that he did for Greenville for these people? These things are not fair. And look again, I feel our country, something is seriously wrong. The Basel Pandey government, they built Piaco International Airport, and today they are being persecuted in the court. Another man don't mashing up this country, terrible infrastructure, no water, flooding, everything, and he's getting an international award of a doctorate. Something is seriously wrong. He comes in the newspaper and says they're taking all steps to control crime. Is it you are taking all steps to control crime, sir, when you yourself went and admit that you derailed the process of the service commission, sir? Now look at what is happening in our school and education system. You have that, what you call the Concordat, where the denominational body, select your own teachers. And look at the kind of performance. Look at the Catholic school, look at the Muslim school, look at the Hindu school by the Mahasab and all these people. Look how much scholarship winners they had in the past because they take caliber teachers, they have a system. Now you want to mash up that and bring all that to the government schools. So these are things, who is going to suffer, sir? It is the children of tomorrow who is going to suffer. Just so the people must rally together. Let us stop this local election, sir. Let us have a general election. If Kamala Prasad, sir, who is promising, if she gets Prime Minister, she is going to scrap the property tax, which means she have a plan how to get money other way. Don't come and burden the citizens, sir. So the government does not have a plan. And as you rightfully said in the previous program, sir, if you are having property tax, Well, if you want to bring it, it must bring across to the board. Everybody, lock, stock, and barrel must pay. But no, when you are selecting and protecting your people, when you say you don't have money for international observers, when you are giving $800,000 for people to investigate a file, when, you know, our money is being squandered, sir. Our money is being squandered. Scrap the local election. Let us have general elections, sir, because these people are politically misfit. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines have stated that he is cautious about revealing exactly what measures are being used to secure the borders, as criminals could be paying attention. Hines was responding to questions from Naparima MP Rodney Charles, who asked what was being done to safeguard officials and unofficial port from contraband, while finding the mastermind behind a recent $234 million cocaine shipment bust. Hines stated that the matter was still being investigated, with one person on charges of drug trafficking, but he was reluctant to give or to go into further details. He agreed with Prime Minister that we have to take stock of what we are doing to protect the people of T&T rather than expose them.
Deputy Speaker, bearing in mind that this matter is still under investigation, aspects of it, active investigation, and bearing in mind that persons charged in this bus are now before the courts, I want to take this opportunity, and I hope my friend will join me, to congratulate the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service
and international partners,
and our international partners with whom collaboration is a daily occurrence, for this success in protecting the people of Naparima, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, from the filth and the horror that would have brought to us had it not been for their success. I want to congratulate the police. Having said that, and in light of the elements that I have identified, these are issues of national security, and the criminals are listening to these questions and the answers that are given. And this is why I agree with the Prime Minister that we have to take stock of what we are doing in here and work collaboratively to protect the people of Trinidad and Tobago rather than to expose them, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
You're talking like you're a coward. You're talking like if it's some big secret you have. Gary Griffith was the Commissioner of Police. He used to step out on a platform, bold and brave. And he used to let the criminals know that I am coming after you. He is the Minister of National Security. And he's talking like a coward. We have to be careful. While all are being careful, people are screaming for their lives. While you all are afraid to mention the plans all you have, home invasion is being rampant in Trinidad and Tobago. So what you're talking about, Hines, what exactly are you talking about? Well spoken in the parliament, while people who have education and degree and have little business running, they're fearful for their life. While you speak in proper English in the parliament, we bother, oh God, help us down here. And then the Commissioner of Police now will go up on a platform and say now, we need spiritual intervention, otherwise all the plan that the TTPS have will be null and void, will go, what? Will not work if we do not get spiritual intervention. And you're talking nonsense. You're talking rubbish. You're talking tata. The guy who go for this to come out and let them know one time, hey, we're coming after all you. And they go after them. You talking in parables and you talking cowardness. I just say bold and brave on TV and jump my fence. Body bag picking up all here. Body bag picking up all here. I ain't not afraid on that. I let you know as it is. So we are going for a short commercial break, viewers. But when we come back, we're going to stick to what Hines to say after this.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan? Only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, we offer you 4% on fixed deposit. And remember, I'm a licensed money lender. So if you want to make a proper investment, to get 4% on your hard-earned cash, contact Saieed, 339-1670. You can't go wrong. You're trusting in the bank and you ain't getting nothing. Why not invest with Saieed? Why not? And watch your money grow. Hines said, a 360-degree full functional radar system was in operation, which provided an added layer of surveillance, but maintained that any Coast Guard would be challenged to patrol every port of entry to a country.
In light of that, I would say that we have a radar system. It is now 360-degree, fully functional, watching what is happening around. But there's no Coast Guard fleet in the world that has the capacity to patrol all of the ports of entry, legal or illegal. None. Trinidad and Tobago being no different. But we do have a complement of vessels. We should have had more. We had 3 OPVs which were cancelled by his government, and they are now in the Brazilian fleet. To redress that problem, when we came back to government in 2015, we ordered in 2018 2 Cape-class vessels, which were delivered in 2021 to protect the borders, of which that member just spoke. And we'd have been a lot further ahead had they not intervened in the way that they did.
And it's the same thing I'll continue to say. Hines, you are the Minister of National Security. Nobody else but you. When security lapses in Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Young not getting blamed. The House Speaker not getting blamed. Who will be getting blamed? I side will be labeling you, the Minister of National Security. For what? Lack of what? Efficiency. I will be blaming you. The opposition not in power 7 years now, PNM presently in government, and still blaming UNC. You're still blaming them. Why? Why is the blame game continuing? But wait. At one point in time, you said you are the Minister of National Security. Your job is to provide resources. You forget that come out of your lips. It came out of your lips. Not Saieed, you know. Your lips it came out from. And with the same lip now, you turn around and tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago that it is not my job to make sure that they are safe. You talk like a coward. It's sad to say, but the reality is the reality. Previously, in a written response, Hine noted that TNT Coast Guard does not currently have and never had enough vessels to provide 24-hour patrol service along all areas of the entire coastline. Hines, again, you're blaming now. No other country in the world have a full battalion. Hines, you're living in Trinidad. You're living in a 2x2 country. Billions of dollars are circulating in our economy. Billions of dollars are passing through Trinidad and Tobago. But you talking about the U.S.? How much time Trinidad fitting in the U.S.? How many times Trinidad is going to fit in Canada? Right, Venezuela, how many times Trinidad is going to fit into Venezuela? Talk now, man. You want to talk? You want to brag your mouth? I'm challenging you, you know. I'm challenging you. You know about security, I know about security and intelligence. So 2 hours we could go at it right there. You are the minister. What plans do you have to dismantle gangs, being the Minister of National Security? What plans do you have to safeguard Trinidad and Tobago borders? And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, no country in the world have enough fleet. We live in a 2x2 country. 2x2, 1.4 million people, Hines, come on. If your head a function and take some ginkgo or something. Good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Instead of you showing me them two clowns on TV, show me something like Mott and Jeff now. One is national security, the next one is small pen. Them are doing nothing. The PNM always put in square pegs in the wrong hole. Why somebody asked what happened to the minister's stepdaughter who had so much money in Rowell together and what happened to that case?
Correct.
I have a little test for you. I hear that the Minister of Transport, he is Mrs. Prime Minister family. I want you to look into that because two of them are crap.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, moving along now, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed has announced plans to acquire 2 new aircraft to enhance border security. He said the United States will be replacing the current fleet of aged Air Guard aircraft. The PM stated that the aircraft TNT currently has is very old and added that these assets are of importance given that they do not only serve TNT but the Caribbean.
One of the things we did raise there was our concern about the aged aircraft that we were using. Our fixed-wing aircraft that we use for border patrol and search and rescue. Our Air Guard has 2 very old aircraft that we had become very concerned about. These are very expensive specialist aircraft, and we've been asking the United States to help us to replace those aircraft. And they don't only serve Trinidad and Tobago, but the Southern Caribbean, because if there's a loss of Grenada or St. Vincent at sea, there's an emergency, it is Trinidad and Tobago's assets that are immediately called into play as a first responder. Not to mention our own borders, patrolling it from the constant attempt by South Americans to penetrate our.
Now viewers, he added that TNT is in the process of receiving from the United States 2 new specialist aircraft to replace the current one.
We had a listening ear at that time, and as we renew these discussions recently, I'm pleased to announce that the discussions are bearing fruit, and we are in the process, and listen to me carefully, we are in the process of receiving from the United States 2 new specialist aircraft to replace the ones that we have there. That's a very welcome development. The process is underway, and you'll hear more about that as we go forward in not too distant future, and we look forward to the day when we receive those 2 aircraft.
Viewers, staying with Rowley, he stated, changing topic, he stated that the management system that currently exists within the 14 municipal corporation is weak and needs to change as he opened the Diego Martin Administrative Complex. The PM explained some of the pain that councillors are facing and having to deal with CEOs who at times do not support councillors with their requests for aids. He mentioned an instance with one being a contractor in the Diego Martin borough who has stopped collection and was still paid.
There's one
fraud squad needs to get in. Fraud squad needs to get in. Dr. Ali stated that the management system in the corporation is weak and it can be improved by the work they have done.
There's one particular contractor who works in the Diego Martin area. The minute an election is about, they stop collecting garbage in Diego Martin. But I don't mind them not collecting the garbage, but they get paid while they're not picking up the garbage. And the corporation doesn't stop the payment. Because the management system in the corporation is weak, it is faulty, and it can be improved by the work that we have done.
This is not the same man who wanted to extend the life of councillors by 1 year in Trinidad and Tobago. The other was a man who was in jail, still being paid for over a year, causing the PM to say that local government is a sham, but many things can be done to change that.
Man in jail for over a year. Corporation doesn't know. Keep paying him. That happens, and that could only happen because what passes now for local government is a sham. We can do a whole lot better, but we have to change a number of things. And the first change is to accept that what we have is not the best that we can do.
Not the best, not the best. He said the next development of the borough will be the Diego Martin Library. Dr. Ali added that this is the vision of local government, and he asked those attending the event not to see this building as a symbol, but as a functional response to the request for improvement in the quality of their life and Diego Martin. Listen to the PM one more time.
The corporation has to be there and willing to receive it and to make it work for you. This is the vision of local government. Management of those affairs that affect you directly in your neighborhood. So I ask you to not see this building as a symbol only, but a functional response to your quest for improvement in the quality of your life. And Diego Martin, it does not come better than this. Your roads are improving. Your main arteries are improving. Your housing is improving. And now your administration is improving.
Trinidad and Tobago, I welcome the administrative complex in Diego Martin. Progress is happiness. Progress is going forward. Progress is changing the way we think and do business. Now I'll tell you something. We, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we have to understand what we need in our country. This is what we need to understand. We need to understand we need better roads. We need to understand that we need better hospitals. We need to understand that we want a lower cost of living. We need to understand that we need service providers of telecom service to be at a cheaper rate. We need for ourselves to understand that we need a better life. Not in the life of the 1680. No, we are going into the 21st century. We need changes. So we are going for a short commercial break, and we're going to hear what Hines have to say as he look forward to cooperation with the U.S. gun crime after this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, we are offering you 4%. I always love to stress on this. You have your money put down at financial institution and you're not getting nothing. Nothing. 0.05%. How much is that? So I always like to elaborate on a figure that you could benefit from. Once you invest with us, your money is guaranteed. It is guaranteed. And I always tell you this. I will tell you something. For the last 5 years, I have been managing a studio by myself without asking for funding from anybody. Multi-million-dollar production without the assistance of anybody. And I have also gotten a lot of legislation and amendment passed to Trinidad and Tobago with what? Demanding. So when I tell you, invest with Real Talk, when I tell you you're getting 4%, you're getting 4%. Presently, we are the only company in Trinidad and Tobago that is paying 4% in our country. A better rate for a better citizen. How long are you going to stick with getting nothing? You have so much to do and you're getting what? Nothing. So why not invest with us? Remember, I'm a licensed money lender also. We do everything by the books, you know. Every single thing. Otherwise, you know what? I would have been off the air a long time. Long time. Call a good night. Hello? Yes, take a get the click. Now, viewers, while the Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines, is heartened by the United States financial donation to help curb gun crime in the Caribbean, there are calls for the public to be told how that money is being spent and what value they will get from it. The United States is said to be investing more than $100 million US in the Caribbean region to crack down on weapons trafficking. Now, to help alleviate Haitian humanitarian crisis and support climate change initiative. Now, this $100 million, they are going to tackle the crackdown on weapons trafficking. They're going to alleviate Haitian humanitarian crisis, And they're also going to support climate change. So this $100 million is going to split in three. It's going to split in three. So let's just say you might probably get about 35 million. US. 35 million US going to crack down on weapon trafficking. $35 million is going to Haitian humanitarian crisis. And maybe about 30 million or 32 million support climate change. I'm just breaking it down like that. It could be different. 50 million could be going for weapons, 25 million for climate change, 25 million for Haitian. It could be like that. So we now, the citizen, want to know what part and how much is being allocated to these three different directives that they want to tackle. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
You're live on Real Talk. Go right ahead.
Mr. Saeed.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you, I'm calling from California in Trinidad, that in order for that statement Mr. Rowley just made, he have to change himself and he have to get out of this Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Point number one. Point number two.
How much money is going into what? That is what we want to know. It's for the Caribbean, we understand that. TNT have been selected to be the hub. The hub. So that $100 million will come where? To us. And then divided. Let me tell you something. I just bring so much on news to educate you all. Every single night. But I want to let you understand something. This is not about me, you know. Real Talk with Saieed Ali is here for the people, to educate the people. That is why I take pride in coming here every night. I just put off meetings just to come here to let you know what is going on in our country. There are so many news stations in our country, but they just touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. What about the real discussions? What about the real issues? This is our Synergy on Synergy Television, Synergy Network. It provides you with information. Be educated of what is taking place in our country. Ministers have rights to go up on platform and talk. They have rights to talk. But plans is something different. Solution is something different. Getting answers is something different. Getting production is something different. You decide, you're always blaming a minister, you're always blaming a minister. Let me tell you something, if I don't go down on the ministers would not go down on their parties. Which means the general manager, the supervisors, works and transport, roads in Trinidad and Tobago. You know why I blame Rohan Sinanan? You want to know why? Rohan, you have a big portfolio. And in your administration, don't do what they're supposed to do. Who's going to carry the blame? You being the minister. You being the minister will carry the blame. Whether you like it or not, you cannot duck from it. And that is why I am telling Hines, go to the Prime Minister, ask him how many times they move the majority to get simple votes to bring laws and legislation. I want Keith Scotland and all also to ask the Prime Minister that. All they blaming UNC 7 years into the future of your governance. All they want to blame UNC still. No wonder why we ain't going nowhere. No wonder why. The telecriminals are coming after all you. I telling you on national television, jump my fence and pick it up in a body bag. Because this property that you jump on is not yours, not your grandmother, not your mother one. It is mine. So if you drop my fence 1 o'clock in the morning and they pick you up like a strainer, like somebody mother good son pick up like a strainer. You blaming me for that? No. Jump your mother fence. Don't jump on next man's fence that you have no idea of how we got it. Heinz afraid to tell the public, well, you know, we're not going to expose them. You're talking crap on national television. Total rubbish. So viewers, we are almost out of time for tonight. I do want to thank you for viewing this program. We'll talk with Saieed Ali. There's a rerun of this program the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Let me tell you something. I will continue doing what I am doing. I will continue. You see, if I take funding from people to run ads and wherever it is, they would have said like, Saieed, you know, the minister, I'm a friend, I'm a family, you know, they can't say that, but take your money and go your way one time. That's just me, take your money and go your way one time. You say, oh, Saieed, you're risking your life. Somebody has to do it. Somebody needs to stand up for the people. I enjoy what I do, you know. I always tell people, I just do spiritual work, you know. This is my blessing, you know. To do spiritual work in this country. You think I do it with fear? No, I'm not doing it with fear. You think I come into face now with fear? No. Fear is not part of me. Getting the job done, standing up, demanding, that is Saieed. That is Saieed. So like I said again, I'm encouraging you, make an investment into our company, viewers, 4%. Remember, at the end of 12 months, you have to pay property tax. Where are you getting extra money from? You will dig into your savings when you can invest in your savings with us. With us. And get a reward. Remember, I'm a licensed money lender. I'm a licensed money lender. I've been in this business for years. For years. I do business local, regional, and international. And I fear nobody. Nobody. So viewers, until we meet again, you all be safe. Ila anta kirahima labazun turku ala inna ba'uzanama. A king in a country that's trying to suppress its people until God sent Moses to open the eyes of that particular people in that particular country. Until we meet again, good night.